Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Malika Mridul. I will be the host of today's webinar on behalf of TNP Academy. Now it's time for me to introduce all of you to our guest speaker. For today's webinar, we are glad to have Mr. Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. The topic with which he is here today with all of us is audit plan. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy. He is also a lead auditor in ISO standards 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301, and 5001 respectively. He has industrial experience of around 15 plus years as implementer of management system standards and around 25 plus years in the field of auditing and training. He has been imparting training through the medium of webinars, seminars, live sessions, and online offline mode to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs, and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminology and how ISO standards are implemented within organizations. It was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you, brother. We had a plan to discuss the audit plan subject today. So, audit plan is a subject which is of interest to all the auditors, trainers, certification bodies, because this is the stage which is applicable when the audit planning is going on. So, we always say in our global teams of auditors and trainers that yes, if planning is done well, the 50-60% or even more job is put onto the right track. An audit plan is applicable to all management system, whether it is quality, environment, health, safety, energy management, the business continuity. All management systems will have an audit plan. Okay. So whenever we are going to start the planning of the auditing process, whether it is for stage 1 audit, whether it is for stage 2 audit, surveillance or recertification, and after recertification also again the cycle start for surveillance 1, 2, 3 and so on. So audit plan needs to be discussed into the teams to make it effective with respect to the client operation processes, units and so on. So it is the responsibility of the certification body to ensure that an audit plan is established before any audit is conducted. So audit plan has many elements, which we can discuss one by one. It should be appropriate to the objectives. What are the objectives of our uh, stage 1 or stage 2 or surveillance or C certification? It should be appropriate to the objective to see that yes, those objectives are in line with our audit plan and the scope of the audit. The scope of the audit is one area where the planning needs to be focused. Scope may cover various processes. It may cover various, the departments, various functions. It will have different products. It may have various kind of services. It may have various units. So that scope is one which needs to be focused while developing an audit plan. And also, it will include a reference and inputs from the various other activities like the audit objectives. We just discussed objective of every stage of audit is different. Stage 1 has a different objective. Stage 2, which initial or final certification, has a different objective. Surveillance audit is to see that your system is being maintained, which has been certified 1 year or 2 year back. So, and recertification objective will have a situation where The auditors will make an audit plan to see that yes, in last 3 years period or 2 year 11-month period, what implementation has been done, and to verify that they develop the audit plan. So that's the objective reference for the development of the audit plan. Then audit criteria, which standard we are going to refer, which standard this audit plan is being developed for. Many standards have got supporting standard also. Supporting standard criteria are applicable. For example, food safety management system, business continuity management system, energy management system. So those different criteria, the criteria of the accreditation board are also applicable at times. So all these criteria needs to be referred when we are developing the audit plan for various kind of stages. So that's the uh, planning of the audit plan, I would say. Then other elements will be, as we discussed, the scope in details. Scope needs to be taken into reference when we are developing the audit plan. And the audit plan format will have the scope in the beginning. So the idea is to see that when we know the scope, we can develop a good audit plan. It also includes identification of the organizational and functional units or processes to be audited. There can be different functional units. It can be unit 1, unit 2, assembly 1, assembly 2, machining 1, machining 2, service of air conditioning, maybe at Gurugram, servicing of the air conditioning maybe at New Delhi, or maybe the Mumbai branch. So different functions are there, and there can be different processes. All processes may not be applicable for all the units. Some process is applicable for a particular unit. Somewhere the servicing is being done of the cars. Somewhere only the sales points are there. If we talk of the service industry for motor cars. So in audit plan, the reference and the understanding of the units and processes needs to be taken into account. Then what happens? We get into the date planning. It is a stage 2 audit plan is being developed. So it is for 2 days. This is a construction company. This is a builder who is, into the construction of the multi-story buildings and roads and so on development. So there can be sites applicable. It is also applicable sometimes the servicing industry is there. They also have got different sites. But most applicability is for the construction activities. And what on-site activity needs to be conducted? What are the various functions? Also we have got at times the temporary sites where the work will start on a temporary basis, and the site will be closed, so that we will be picking up from the application, the inquiry stage. If we are into stage 2 audit or into surveillance audit, we would have seen the organization earlier, and we understand that yes, temporary sites can be applicable. Some work will start. Some water harvesting is being done by a company. They provide the service to one company, then they go to second company, then they go to third company, or they go for a you know modification or upgradation of a particular construction site or water harvesting site or servicing unit they have. They are going for upgradation. So temporarily they go and start working there. Then after some time, after the time period of the project is complete, this is closed. So we need to include all this into the audit plan, and a visit needs to be planned, and that needs to be covered into the audit plan. We also have a remote auditing situation at times. We are going to different states, different countries, where various units and functions are there. So as required and as appropriate, where remote auditing needs to be done, and it is permitted by various standards and various applicable guidelines of the certification body and boards, they become a part of the audit plan. So from the planning activity, the teams of the auditing and the CB and the client are aware, yes, there is going to be a remote auditing in this particular unit. This comes into audit plan. So once that much is understood, then we go to further. The expected duration of on-site activities. How much time we are going to spend? 1 day, 2 day, 2.5 day, depends upon what is the strength of the employee in the organization and into the initial application when it has been received, the duration has been decided. So that duration is getting a place into the audit plan that yes, it is for 1 day or 2 day or 3 or 4 days of the audit, and on site this much time will be kept. Sometimes may be devoted for the review and other activities. So that is a different activity, but on site has to be a part of the audit plan. Then we have a team. The team has been selected for conduct of the stage 2 audit, surveillance audit, or recertification, and whatever is the stage of the audit for a particular client organization. So audit teams roles and responsibilities needs to be addressed and defined into the audit plan. There will be a lead auditor who will be heading the team. There will be audit team members. So who will be doing what functions, what department, what responsibility. Somebody will do purchase, somebody will do inspection, somebody will do management function, other team member will do the internal audit function, the next member may be doing the contract review, application review function of the company. So all this needs to be finding a place into the audit plan format. Then we may also have other team members into the audit team at times, like observers from the side of certification body, and at times observers from accreditation boards or other entities also. So they also find a place into the audit plan. When we go to different countries and sometimes different states for the auditing, language is a problem at times. So we need to have interpreters into the audit team who will be working as an interface between the client and the auditor, and they do the interpretation, English to Arabic, English to Russian, English to American English at times, because different accents are there at times. So we go to a South Indian states in India if we are. So language is a problem at times. So depending upon the situation, the interpreters are utilized by certification body and they are a part of the audit team. So they also find a place into the audit plan. So the entire team is understanding this. Yes, we need to have effective utilization done of the interpreters into the auditing situation. Then we have this audit plan. This can be one document. At times, this can have more than one document. In case of multi-sites applications, multi-units, multi-states, multi-country organization, we do at times where we do 15, 20 units at times. So there can be more than one document as an audit plan, because different country, different states, functional, different departments may have a different audit plan document, because it will vary from country to country and state to state, and maybe a unit to unit at times, depending upon the functions and operations the organization have taken place into their scope. So once that happens, then we go further. We need to communicate the audit dates via audit plan, and this needs to be agreed with the client in advance. I mean, client should not get a surprise that yes, oh, tomorrow there is an audit, so audit plan is here. No, that is not the idea. Idea is to that see that client is well prepared for the audit which is going to take place maybe in next week. Today we are on a 3rd August, so we send a, for example, audit plan on 4th of August, and audit stage 2 is on 16th and 17th August maybe. So client is informed in advance. He gets a communication of the dates of the audit, and he agrees with that. So certification body team and the client is having a continuous communication, and they mutually agree, yes, these are the dates of the audit, and then audit plan is prepared, and then it is communicated to the client. So the auditing team and the client both are well prepared to see that, yes, they move on with a well documented, well communicated audit plan, and there are no gaps in between. Also, the requirement, the certification body shall provide the name of the audit team members. Audit plan will have the lead auditor, Mr. Sharma, other team member, Mr. Verma, the interpreter, Mr. Alexander, or technical expert, Mr. Robert. So their names are documented in the audit plan, because the client at times will request that I want to know the background of the auditors, experts, technical experts, observers, so that they get sufficient time to object for the appointment of any audit team. At times it happens that some of the audit team members or interpreters or observers or technical expert might have a different kind of a relationship with the company in past, and the client does not want them to be coming to their organization for various his reasons, his design specific situations, his scope specific situations, or he might have a bitter experience with any of the team members who had earlier visited for him for a different purpose. So the client wish to object, and he want to say that I don't want this particular audit team member of the certification body to visit my organization in this stage 2 audit or surveillance or recertification audit. And since this is done in advance, so certification body gets enough time. We have Sunday audit plan on 4th of August, and client has objected on 5th or 6th. So for a particular member, so certification body gets 6 7 days time, and they can replace the team member with another team member. So the objection is has been valid from the client, and it has been taken care by the certification body planning team, and they have reconstituted the team, and audit planning is on. So once this much is done, we are now going into the auditing situation. So audit planning part has been completed. Then what we do, we are into a situation where we have to keep on doing analysis and future actions. Audit plans are being made, audit plans are being developed. Even for the clients, they are also developing audit plans for their internal audit, sometimes their second party audit. So all that is going on. And that has got a different audit plan, objective, criteria, and targets. So that needs to be analyzed on a continual basis into small groups and cross-functional teams, so that the effectiveness of our audit plan is always on improvement mode. That is what is the idea, to get into analytical mode. And we always have to see that we are monitoring the implementation of audit plan. Audit plan has been developed for stage 2 audit, surveillance audit, that is all right, good. But we have to keep on monitoring the implementation. Yes, that yes, it has been implemented on the same dates with the same audit team or with the reconstituted audit team after the client's objection or suggestions or whatever. So we need to effectively monitor the implementation so that there are no gaps into the planning activity. Also, we have a situation that we have to conduct the effective internal audit of audit plan. Various stages of audit plan has been we have discussed. So there needs to be internally audited by a client when they are developing the system, and in a certification body situation when they are conducting the internal audit to see the effectiveness of their audit plan processes. Okay, so internal audit needs to be done by a trained and deemed competent team who should know the various functions and various stages of audit plan. The coordinator of CB or the coordinator of the client needs to see that when internal audit is being done, the internal auditor is aware of the audit plan process. He knows the criteria, objectives, and targets. So, when he conducts an internal audit, the results are moving towards value addition of the audit plan activities, and further improvement comes into the audit planning process. Once an internal audit is done effectively, internal audit file is ready where the audit plan has been audited. Whatever audit planning has been done in last say 6 months or quarter, depending upon the frequency of internal audit, they get down to the summary of the internal audit with respect to the audit plan process, and the team of the organization, the client or the CB team, they will go for a conduct of effective management review meeting to review the audit plan objectives which has been documented, which are being reviewed, and which has been now we get the results via internal audit. So the team meets at scheduled time, scheduled hours, and they discuss the results, the internal audit summary, the internal audit non-conformities, observations with respect to audit plan process objectives and implementation which they have seen in last 6 months or 9 months or 11 months. They verify it in details by involving the management team. There is agenda with respect to audit plan objective, audit process. So they discuss and they find out what gaps have been there, what improvements are required, what root cause analysis has been done, what correction has been done into the reports which has been documented by the auditors, internal auditors, what corrective actions are required, whether corrective actions have been monitored and implemented, and what is the situation now. And then these minutes are documented with respect to all other points plus audit plan objectives which we have discussed into management review meeting. Then what we do? We implement these actions which we decide here into the management review meeting, and further monitoring is done, and further actions and future plans are being tracked. Yes, we have decided that the audit plan for stage one audit will have some more element, or the process time may be increased for audit for a particular type of an industry. This has been discussed into management review meeting. So this is being now implemented into the next audit which is being planned with respect to the internal audit point or the management review meeting point which have been discussed now. So the tracking is going on. Once that happens, the improvement part is automatically achieved. We use different techniques to see that yes, it has been done effectively and how improvements are being brought into the system. The continual improvement needs to be seen. We do the non-conformity review and analysis, and I discuss correction, corrective actions are taken. So once that is done, improvement will definitely come via further enhancement of risk analysis process and so on. So this is what we have discussed into audit planning activities. So we have further informations available on our various websites of training and certification. We have for conduct of training, lead auditor courses, internal auditor courses, approval of exempt and novel INC, and website is there for further information and more knowledge. We also have certification with UAF and IAF accreditation available with us into www.isoindia.org. Also TNV system certification with IES accreditation for various other standards, auditing and certification, and TNV Academy is there where we are conducting these various training courses, learning without limits. Our global teams are always busy in bringing out new topics, new documentation. We share with each other and see that yes, more and more new topics are suggested, brought out, and finally uploaded on our YouTube so that it can be learned by our global teams of ISO community. So these are the things which we have discussed. You can just have a quick look again. So audit plan is the beginning of the auditing activity. It is applicable for all management standards, all management systems. It covers various stages of the auditing, and objectives and scope needs to be focused for that. Objective, then criteria of standard and supporting standard as applicable, then identification of various organizational function units and processes to be audited is finding a place into the audit plan so that as per the sampling, the audit can be done effectively, and that finds a place into the audit planning activity. Dates and sites, on-site activity, temporary sites, remote auditing as applicable are addressed into the audit plan document. What is the duration of the on-site? How much time will be spent on a particular unit, particular department, particular production unit, particular service activity that is documented and defined in audit plan. Roles and responsibilities of audit team members and other members are defined there so that audit team members are clear and client is also clear, whom to ask questions, whom to, refer a document into auditing situation. If a document is shown to a person who is not responsible for that activity, then there's no value addition. So whosoever is doing what activity, they will be looking into those documentation. And as discussed, audit plan information can be one document or many documents depending upon the type and size of the organization. It needs to be communicated in advance. The agreement of the dates for the conduct of the audit, which ultimately finds a place into the audit plan, is well decided and confirmed with agreed with the client and then communicated so that situation of audit is clear to both the parties, the audit team and the client. Also, in the audit plan, the audit team names, their roles are given, and if client is looking forward to have more information on to the audit team members, certification body will team will inform them in advance, and again the agreement will be there. Or if there is a valid objection, a reconstitution of the team is done, and again the audit plan is re-confirmed with the client, and the process of audit is on. Once that happens, then we go into a mode of analysis and future actions. We do all this. We discuss into different teams at times as required and as defined by our plans, and implementation is being monitored. And then internal auditing of this process is conducted, that how effectively we have documented and how effective it is being followed into the teams. So then once that happens, then we go into a management review meeting by having a documentation of internal audit available with the core team of management, and they plan further objectives and targets so that they implement it and monitor the future action for implementation. And naturally, the improvements are being seen once we implement all this. So this is what I thought I will discuss today as an element of audit plan activity for all management system. So if the team has any participants have any questions, they can ask very well.
Thank you, Mr. Bajpayee, for such a vast and good knowledge about the topic. I am really glad and benefited by the knowledge which you have shared with us today. I am sure our participants must have enjoyed the context of today's webinar too. I thank Mr. Bajpayee once again on behalf of TNV Academy for giving his valuable time and accepting our invitation to be the guest speaker for today. I also thank all the participants for taking out time joining us in the webinar today. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to share with you all. Thank you.